Nigeria, there are still many there. There are many. I believe that those people, they said they are deep.
When you begin to hide yourself,
all the business I'm doing, how to keep business, like customer business, receipts.
Hello and welcome to the program Talking Migration. The issue of irregular migration is still one topic that is generating a huge buzz around the world. Earlier this year, 39 Nigerians were freed by the UK National Crime Agency, NCA, from an alleged slave camp in Spain. The victims, many of whom are said to be under the age of 18, were reportedly forced to undergo rituals in Nigeria by some traffickers linked with an organized criminal network known as the Air Confraternity. The NCA, in a statement, said 89 people, including the leader of the gang, were arrested in the course of investigation, with 43 of them remanded in prison. This clearly shows that the irregular migration is far more than just the situation in Libya. In Nigeria, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons in the country has been asking community leaders to educate their youths on the dangers of irregular migration. But there is a general impression that more work needs to be done. Today, I'll be talking to a traditional ruler that understands what they have been doing to warn their subjects against irregular migration. We will be coming back shortly after the break.
On Digi 360, we don't just ask the questions. What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it? We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent.
Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action. People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dollars that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that band.
Digi 360, providing clarity to issues.
Yeah, with me in the studio is the traditional leader, the community leader of Jagundeyi Apino community in Ayobo, High Chief Aliyu Aminu Wasiu. You're welcome, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, Bale.
Yes, sir.
Coming from a community, Ayobo, Apino in Ayobo community, and knowing the kind of community you are from, with a lot of youths and skilled people that have handworks and everything, and the number of youths the way they are, some of them are unemployed, some of them have learned work and they have not gotten any opportunity. What do you consider with what is happening now, the spate of irregular migration in Nigeria? People, youths traveling out in search of greener pastures, looking for jobs here and there, you know, people deceiving them that they will give them job, they will give them everything. From your community, having that kind of target audience, a large number of youths that do not have jobs and are skilled, what do you think is your role, or what do you think can be done to ensure that our youths are not being seen as victims of this dangerous journey?
Oh, thank you very much. By my own view, here in Nigeria, I don't know where we can start from, because the youth of Nigeria that are trying to migrate from by one way or the other, even not by the right channel, they don't mind to even go by road or by sea or whatever. And to me, I did not know where this thing started from, because you see the ages of the children that are trying to migrate to other countries. They are still the children that can still be under the care of the parents. But everybody wants to make millions in a day. I don't know maybe I will put the blame on the parents in the first place. How did they know the journey their children embark on? Because some children under age of 18, most of them are still being school cert holders. Some are even drop out from this secondary school that don't even finish the secondary school. This question is this: what are they going there to do? Are they going for to complete their education over there, or they are looking for a job?
Well, do you think that the parents are aware of this their journey?
Thank you.
From what you have just said now.
There's nothing that the parent, I would say, there are some parents that didn't know. If you are a parent and you say you don't know the step your son or your daughter is taking, that means you are not the type of a caring mother. Because there's no how they will not come home and ask you one question or the other. Mommy, I need this. Mommy, I need that. Or daddy, I need this. In the area of, what do you want to use it for? No questions. If you don't question your daughter or your son of what he's going to use the money or is asking or whatever for, that means, and I can see there are some parents that were eager of financing their child in traveling. They don't want to know the type of traveling the child embark on, maybe by road or by air. But maybe one way or the other, there is somebody that have canvassed them. Okay, if you go to Libya, there's enough work, there is enough money there. There are this, there are that. Maybe those are the area that the youth of today are trying to make money under one day or in a month.
Yeah, from what you have just
What
said.
I'm trying to say about the parent is this. There are some parents that did not even care
About
where their child is going
to.
or the group their child is following.
Okay.
For example, I met some youths maybe a few weeks back. That one said, okay, I will take you and you, I will sell you for 100 million. You 100 million, down 100 million.
Okay.
He's talking to his friend like that.
Okay.
And then I called him. This boy will be under age of 16, talking of million. And I asked him a question. How many 1,000 naira notes in a million? So he cannot even show of how many 1,000 naira notes are in a million. But he's eager of making millions.
So he's desperate.
He's desperate of making millions.
Yeah.
And I called him. Now, you, the way you are talking now, if anybody come near you and canvass you that, okay, there's a link that you can make 500,000 or a million
Yes.
in this evening.
Yes.
Or if you can follow me to this place,
Yes.
you will follow the way you are talking.
Yes. Mm.
And I have to call him and talk to him in a manner that I know he will understand. That the way you are making, you are running after money, don't let money control you. It's you that's supposed to control your own life and says, okay, I want to do this and make this. So I believe the little things I tell the guy, maybe he can have his own rest in some area that I asked him a question again that what are you doing for a living? He says he's a mechanical engineering. That is he's repairing generator.
Okay.
I said, okay. Have you ever, let's say in a job, make 10,000 naira a day? He said yes. He has made 12,000 naira. How many days did you work on? He said only 1 day. He has forgotten. There's a day that they called him to come and check the generator. There's a day that he went to go and submit the quotation before he now walk off 12,000 naira gain. I said, okay, did the money come rapidly like that? So, no. So, and you're talking of, is that the way they are making millions? So these are the areas I said, okay, parents, some parents don't look after their child.
Yeah, hi Chief. From your explanation and your analysis now, where do you think we have gotten it wrong?
That was what I said earlier, that I cannot even say this is the place.
But as a community leader and highly placed community leader from the kind of community you're from, you are used to people, you are used to parents, you are used to youth leaders, you are used to community associations, and you're able to identify some of their attitude. And is there a gap? Is there a gap somewhere?
If I may say, there is a gap. For example, we have some leaders that are supposed to look down into to look downward to the people under them. What can I do to make effect on these people so that they will not think of what cannot done under 10 years in a day?
Yes.
You understand? Like some of our politicians, they're supposed to be doing some orientations to the youth. Let's say the councillors gather some youth of each community or many communities together.
Yeah. Okay,
talk to them in a manner that, this and this, if you're a footballer, you can do this. If you're this, you can do this. If you're don't embark on crime or don't migrate in the way that will spoil your parents' name or dignity. But all these things is not happening. And some of the parents also, for example, some parents will leave 5 a.m. in the morning, come back late around 9, 10 in the night. What check-up is he going to do to the children? Even before he comes, some of them might have slept. And at the end of the day, some of them may not even come back, even entering into the house before he come back. And he might not even think of, let me check my children. Where are they? How far? What did they do? What did they do? What did they do today? You understand the way I put it?
Yes.
Because these are the areas that we can check all this kind of a thing.
Because why I ask this question is, despite the fact that the government of Nigeria is trying, the international community is trying, they are trying to help people, rescue people from Libya, trying to stop this issue of human trafficking and migration, with the effort they are making. Yet, you just heard about 39 Nigerians that were arrested, and some were remanded in the prison. They are still moving, have a link with a group in Nigeria, a confraternity group that, canvasses these people to Europe. Despite all these things, you see that they are still moving our youth and will you say it is only the fault of the parents and even the counselors that is why these things are happening like this and it's increasing?
I will put the blame on the government.
Okay.
The government of our country. Okay. Or of any country that this kind of a thing is rampant.
Okay.
In the sense that we have some youths that go to schools. Some are interested in going to school. While some are, one way or the other, needed money at all costs. But this education, the way the education is going in our country, if care is not taken, the masses will not be able to train their children in terms of education.
Okay.
For example, how many government schools are there for people? Though the government are trying with the little one that they are providing, but it's not enough. You understand? It's not enough. And this so-called private schools has taken hold. And some parents also, because there's no how I will go that I will not go to parents. Some parents, they did not even check their pockets. They wanted to put their son in the level of where the child of a senator. The school that the senator's son or senator's child are going. At the end of the day, the son will go for 2 times, he will not go the last time. because of school fees.
Yeah, means.
At the end of the day, do you think this kind of children will be at the same level? Whereby there are government schools. There are some people that don't even think government having any school, because their belief is government school is not good, government school are bad. But I believe government are trying their best. It depends on, and it's left to me and you to join hand together with the government. Let us know where the lackings are and contribute our own quota.
Okay, yeah, I think I like what you have just said. Left for two of us, to join hands together. Now, what do you think can be a better role that the community leaders will play? You are a ballet now. What role can they play to ensure? Because from what you have said, government have tried, but they still need to try.
They still need to try.
And the closest people to the parents and the youth are the community leaders, to act as a bridge, that is in that gap between the government and the community. What do you think the community leaders can now do? What will be their role to ensure that we reduce this menace that is increasing every day, every minute, every hour?
By my own belief, I will advise the community leaders in their own area. Everything's are not money. Everything's are not money. If they have a space that they can cast out for the children, maybe they cast some area out, maybe a hall that maybe they can, even voluntarily, we can see some people that, okay, I want to teach somebody, I want to be teaching children. There's no space for me to start my lesson or to be doing lesson for the children. If we have opportunity of giving him a shop, okay, come and take this shop and start with. Gradually, that one will teach some child that can become a dropout tomorrow how to read and write. Understand that? And other side of it again is that we have some leaders that believe in, okay, like let's say an NGO come around to any community, I will advise the community leaders to embrace them, to welcome them, to show them one or two things that might be need in the community, so that they will know the area to come and assist them. And at the same time, they should not be demanding for money always, because I know I believe there are some people that will, okay, what did you have for us?
Yeah, what will be their own benefit?
What will be their own benefit?
Tell us, how does it work in your community? Because
to His grace, I have to say this earlier before we continue. To God be the glory, because I have seen one of the assistants through the patriotic citizens that brought in IOM to my community, in which they asked us what are the projects that we have in our community, in which I told them we have some students that maybe drop out from school, but they learn one or two handwork, in which they asked me to invite the youth, those who were around that very day. Most of them said, okay, we have some people that come out and said, okay, I'm an hairdresser. They have not established for me. I need, if I see this, if I see that, I will be able to start on my own. I have some people that said they are doing barbing, in which the group of NGO that came around now put head together. Okay, they asked me to look for a space whereby they can establish for those children, in which they did. They established them, they bought the equipment for them, they bought some of the machines that they need at hairdressing department and also the barbing department, in which, including generator.
Okay. So these were youths from your community?
These are youth from my community.
That were identified?
That were identified then.
Okay.
And at the same time, they asked the community what project again, which I told them we have an health center. That we have almost abandoned a project in which they contribute their own quota to it, which the place were rebuilt, and even by now we have given it to the local government so that they will now bring in staff. They've started using it for some this immunization.
Okay.
They have been using it for immunization for the children now.
Okay.
So, but we need them to come and staff the place fully.
Okay. Well, since this project was carried out in your community by identifying the youths and empowering them, has there been any progress so far? Has it made any impact on your youths and even the community at large?
There is no how I will not say something about that, because I will say something about the youth also. Our youths, the area of, let's say, the maintenance of what they have, that one is also important. Because I can now say, because the people that were co-opted earlier, most of them have, one way or the other, maybe the women, some of them have got married and they've left the area, though we have co-opted
other youths.
Another youths that they are working there right now.
Okay.
So
and how do they benefit from that place? Do they make money to benefit from that place?
They make money according to the capacity of the area.
Okay.
Because it's what they did that they will take.
Yeah.
So these are the area.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say, are you saying is making impacts on the youth?
It's making impact on the youth.
So you are saying that such projects are commended if it comes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so far so good. How many youths have benefited from that project?
Earlier we co-opted 5 people.
Okay.
And another 2 came around and they've left. Presently another 2 are there now.
Okay, and these people are people that you identified as skilled, but they don't have means of survival.
Yes.
They don't have means of setting up their own.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Then the health center, has it made any impact to the community? Because I heard you said you are using it for immunization center.
Yeah. Yes.
What kind of impact has it made to the community? And how did the community, how did they receive that project?
It's a welcome idea.
Okay. Are you telling us now, or are you telling the public now that such a project could go a long way to prevent the high rate of irregular migration that is, going on now? If other NGOs and government continue to support the communities, that it will go a long way to help reduce the rate of irregular migration?
Yes.
Okay. How?
Thank you. I believe if we see more NGO that can go to communities like that and do things like that for the youths, I believe 10 out of 80 that were outside there, if they benefit, and the remaining 70 will be looking inward and say, I think I can learn work. I think you believe, okay,
yes.
I think I can learn work. They can easily go there and have a skill under their friends that have make it, because they believe they are making it because whatever they do, they see money there. And instead of dragging their feet on the floor, moving about, they will have something doing.
Okay.
That one will keep them busy in some area. And thinking of, if you have something doing, thinking of something bad will not come to your idea.
Okay. So you are saying that if the youth are occupied in that way, that their mind will be occupied?
Yes.
They will not be vulnerable to people coming to canvass them to travel?
Exactly, because there's Yoruba adage that says, "Owoto dile ni eshu nbe lowe."
Yes. Yeah, Bale, the community in some areas, they sell their lands to encourage their youths out, by supporting them to go to seek greener pastures, maybe in another state or in another country. Do you think that is good? Because from what you said before, you said the community leaders should engage, when they engage the youths on projects in the community and they are not idle, that they will not have this urge to travel out, you know. But from some things that have been happening, you know, so community leaders even support some of their youth leaders.
By selling their community land.
Yeah, by selling their community land to support some of these people to travel. How do you see it?
Okay, I'll bring out this question. Okay, what if he went there and be a successor? Okay. Where did they want him to come and erect his own building when they've already sold the community land because they want him to travel? What did they want the remaining ones to rely on? Okay. Because to me, I would call it selfishness idea. Okay. Because of one person, you sold the whole family's property out. What about the people that still remain in Nigeria?
Yeah, because they might have this belief that when the person makes it there, he will come and take other people.
Okay, to that place.
Yes.
If those people over there did not create an avenue for the people coming, would they be able to go?
They will not be able to go there. That is what I was talking about, these dangers of irregular migration. What of the person they have sold the land to send outside? Guest maybe dies in the sea, or dies on the road, or gets into prison in abroad. So don't you think that the community leaders have a very big role to play in ensuring that this issue of youth desperation and the youth trying to run out for greener pastures, don't you think they have a very big role to play?
Yes, they have a big role to play. The only thing is, only the ones that were known to the community leaders. You can ask, where is Biodun? Biodun have traveled. You understand? Yeah. Biodun have traveled since last month. Sure, you understand. Yeah. Okay, what did you expect the community leader to do? But the only advice I have for parents is they should think of tomorrow before they take the step of bad act of today. Okay. Because tomorrow we speak for what we do today or yesterday.
Yes. Now, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons have advised, and they're also encouraging the community leaders like you to go out and begin to sensitize your community against the dangers on the heels of this irregular migration, that our youths are dying. You know, that it should also help in ensuring that we don't lose our youth, we don't lose our skilled youth and our future generation. You know, do you think what the NAPTIP is saying is good for you to, imbibe?
Yes, it's good.
Okay, so what will you advise other ballets and other communities to do? Should they take the same step like you have just taken?
Yes.
Okay.
I will advise my colleagues to please embrace the system. They embrace the system by creating job for the youth within their community.
And encourage
the youth to exercise patience. Yes. They should not be thinking of traveling abroad that they did not even know
what they are going to
meet over there. There are some people that have left and they come back with nothing.
Some died over there, some are in jail, some are in prison.
Some are in jail. Some are here in Tango City in Nigeria that cannot even go to their father's house. Nobody knows that they are still in Nigeria because they've went there and they send them back and they are locked up in Tango City here in Muritala Muhammad. And some are over there in jail. And some are still on desert, moving that they have not known their destiny. They have not go to their destination. What are we going to say about those people that have lost their life in the process? And the parents are here at home waiting. As Suraju have left for the past 5 years, he has not called he has not come back. Yeah, at the end of the day, the mother will be thinking his son is over there, but unfortunately, maybe the son has gone. And maybe they sold all what they have for their son to travel. I will advise the parent also to please have courage and train their child the way and the manner of God. Kí ọ̀rọ̀ wọn má dàbí ohun tí ọwọ́ mi kò tó máa fi gọ̀gọ̀ fà á. So I don't know how to put it in English.
Yeah, thank you very much, Vale.
All right.
Yes, you have heard from Vale, and every hand must be on deck. The community leaders and the parents, the youths, everybody must sit up to ensure that this issue of irregular migration becomes a thing of the past. We have lost a lot of people in the desert, in the Europe, in the prison. You know, people have gone, you know, lost their destinies, even trying to seek greener pastures. You know, we are joining hands with the community leaders based on what the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons have said, that community leaders should go out. So we are joining hands with them to say no to irregular migration.
Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? Is any other person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. You remember I paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption
not in my country.
Oh, you know, go to your bank. Oh.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Earlier on, I had with me in the studio the community leader from a community who gave us a vivid explanation on their approach towards the eradication and reduction of irregular migration and human trafficking in Nigeria. Now, I'm having with me the Zonal Commander, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and other related matters. So, ma, please, how have you been handling the issues of human trafficking, especially now that the trend is high and we are having cases of a lot of youths and a lot of girls being deceived through the Mediterranean Sea, to the desert, to go to Europe for greener pastures, and you have a lot of girls that are being forced into sex slavery. A lot of children are being, you know, coerced and deceived and being forced into labor and being carried through that route. How has it been with your agency? How have you been approaching it? And just give us a general...
Well, the agency, NAPTIP, that's the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, has been in the forefront against every form of human trafficking. The agency has actually taken it in its stride, and we're doing everything humanly possible, especially with the assumption of duty of office with the new DG, Mrs. Dame Julie Oka-Donley. She has actually been doing very well to see that every form of human trafficking is brought to a halt. It's not an easy task, but I can assure you we are up to it. Everything possible is being done to make sure that it comes to an end.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ma. I remember the DG sometime, let's say some weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, was in Edo State, and she encouraged the partnership of the community leaders and the traditional communities to, come out and support the fight against human trafficking, and the perception then was not really too okay, but it's as if what the DG really went for is yielding result, because from what is happening now, can you say that approach is really is commendable, and the approach is going to ensure that the issue of human trafficking is being brought to a halt?
Let me first say that there was a misconception about the agency's intent concerning the partnership with the juju priests. Yeah. It was misconstrued to mean that NAPTIP is employing the services of the juju priests. What the agency set out to do is to let the public know that the juju priests are working with us in order to fight the traffickers. Most of them were unaware of the evil intentions or plans or uses of the victims that were brought to them for them to swear oath. So with that work done by the agency, and especially by the DG, they were able to come out to deny they're working with the juju priest now, and are ready to support NAPTIP, so that anyone that comes to them for the purpose of swearing oaths will be handed over to NAPTIP. So even we know that the Oba of Benin even revoked the oaths, where all of them were made to bring all those things that are in their shrines, so that there could be a revocation of the oath. And it's actually yielding results. Now the girls are coming up to tell us, so and so madam wants me to do this, wants me to do that. The public is now much more aware of the evils associated with human trafficking, and it's like now they can actually talk. They feel no more holds bad, and then they can actually say whatever it is without dancing to the tune of the madams. So from within, from outside the country, so many people are coming out now to work against their madams and to give NAPTIP more information.
Yeah, that's a good one. And you can see that from what you have just said, NAPTIP is doing a lot of work. And as we know, it's not too easy for just NAPTIP alone to do the whole work and everything. They need collaboration, at least with the engagement of, with the partnership of the community leaders and the traditional leaders. Something is happening. Yeah. But you are aware that these traffickers are very, very proactive. They are people that, they walk ahead of. I see them as people who walk ahead of other people, because they always think faster. Another way to outsmart the agencies or the people. Are there other measures that NAPTIP is trying to bring out to ensure that when these people take their step, they're also taking other steps? Like from what we have said, the engagement and the partnership of the community leaders, to support. Are there other ways they are also trying to ensure, that these traffickers are subdued to a large extent?
You see, to some extent, most of these traffickers see human trafficking as a source of livelihood. Yeah. And you don't expect them to take it that they don't want to continue working. So we in the agency also are a step ahead of them. That's why we see it that the community needs actually to be taken in our stride for we to be able to surmount this evil. Yeah. The agency believes in partnership. That's why we have what we call the 5P strategy that we use to achieve our results. Yeah. Partnership is one of them. We see that the communities are very, very important if we have to get at the traffickers. So advocacy is very important. We pay advocacy visits to community leaders, opinion leaders, all the people that are involved, all the relevant stakeholders, so that they can help us. One thing the DG also did was to initiate the whistleblowing policy This is to encourage more people to come forward and talk about human trafficking activities going on in their communities. And very well it's been yielding results. You have people calling us to say there's a suspected movement or case of human trafficking going on around their areas. They call us, especially within the Lagos Zone NAC Command, we have people calling us from Ojo, near the cantonment, from Badagry, almost on a daily basis. We go to Seme, come and pick a victim, or there's an interception that has been taking place, and then they hand them over to us. So much more than ever before, it's actually what we are looking at as a way of ending human trafficking. It's a very good strategy.
Oh, great, great. Yeah, you mentioned during your talk about the 5 Ps of human trafficking. Just can you elaborate more? Because I'm interested in that. You talked about
the policy is the first, which is very important for any agency to work where you must have certain policies in place for you to work with. The second is prevention, which has to do with enlightenment. We believe that it's important for us to get to the victims before the traffickers do. So we employ all measures such as sensitization, rallies, campaigns, workshops, seminars, either at the motor parks, schools, churches, mosques, so that everybody can know the evils associated with human trafficking and how not to be a victim. Then from the prevention, we go to protection. We know that these victims sometimes have been traumatized because of the experiences they must have had. It's our duty to make them come back to their senses, remove whatever post-traumatic disorder syndrome they might have been having, and also get them to become better citizens in the society. In the shelters where we have all our zones, you have counselors, we have social workers that are well-trained. They have the abilities to talk to the victims, counsel them, and rehabilitate them. Upon rehabilitation, they are empowered. So we have our partners that work with us, and they get these girls skills, they give them skills, and they're empowered, monitored before they are reintegrated into the society. We have prosecution, because we see deterrent as very important if we want to win the fight against human trafficking. So we have the investigators, we have the lawyers that are working with us so that the cases can be taken to court, and we've had convictions. We've had over 339 convictions so far. And then the last P is partnership, which involves everybody, all willing people, all relevant stakeholders, either foreign missions or even local agencies. We have international NGOs also working with us. We have the United Nations bodies working with us in order to end human trafficking. So that's the 5 Ps.
Oh, great, great. That is interesting. In terms of a partner prosecution, you mentioned about having conviction of about
339.
Yeah, in generally.
Generally, that's talking about NAPTIP.
Okay, NAPTIP. Okay, and there's hope, because I know that there are some other people that are standing trial now.
Yeah, we have so many cases in the High Court and the state courts too. Okay,
and don't you think that there are ways? Is there any measure NAPTIP is putting to ensure that some of these people don't, evade justice, or kind of try to maneuver and get out of justice? Because I know, like in Nigeria, a lot of things happen. People can pay their way through and escape,
Well, the people can do different things for them to evade justice or to evade being put under behind bars. But one thing in NAPTIP is we have our act, and it is well grounded, such that all those little things are taken care of. You cannot anymore have a case where you have someone being given fine instead of going to jail. Now the offenses are, the convictions are benchmarked. No one can be given the option of fine instead of sentences. So we have instead someone going to jail and also paying a fine. So these are things that we do to make it steeper, so that people don't just we have a stiff law now, much more than before. That's the 2015 law. So it's helping us and it's working well for us. Now the penalties are a lot more grievous.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, looking at the recent returns of the evacuation from Libya and other countries are trying to return Nigerians now. And most of these people from the fillers we are getting are victims of human trafficking, that were taken for prostitution and all others. Looking at it, and some of these people that were evacuated as well are also likely to be traffickers, and there are no way you can, being a trafficker is not written on the face, Is there any way, because it's been an issue, some persons have been talking about it, is there any way NAPTIP is looking at it, especially at the point of reception, to see how, during the profiling, to see how some of these people can be identified, not maybe necessarily prosecuting them, but maybe identified and put them on a checklist, as they return. Is there anything like that?
Yes, we work with the Nigeria Immigration Service. We work also with the Joint Border Task Force. This is a unit that is set up in the agency and is being funded by the British Deputy High Commission in Lagos. We've had successes in things that you have enumerated like this. There was a time we had some victims who were at the airport to receive them. So while the victims were there waiting, they just hauled at someone. About 4 of them attacked the guy, that he was their trafficker. Things like this happen a lot. Sometimes you have victims that have been profiled, because when we are at the airport, we'll receive them, we'll profile all of them. So the ones that have been noted to be victims of trafficking, once they have come to our stand at the airport, we ask them, do you know your traffickers? They give us information. So it's possible. There was the case that I was talking about. The girls were brought and taken to our shelter. And when another flight came in, they were at the airport because they gave us intelligence to the fact that the trafficker is likely to come back into the country. And they aided us in getting to get the flight details and everything. So we got to the airport with them and they pointed out at the guy and we got him. So they have been helpful and it's working well for us. So most times the victim, they even come like victims themselves when they are traffickers. So but those victims are the ones that can tell us that sometimes we've packed them and they are victims. They will come and tell us that, madam, this person is not actually is not a victim. It's actually a trafficker. It's the one that trafficked us. Some people will even call to say they want to receive the victims that we hand over to them, and then they will tell us that he's my trafficker. So these things have been happening and we've been recording successes in that aspect. So we do a thorough job at the airport because the profiling is not just coming in and going to your different states or whatever. So they are profiled and we get every necessary detail at that point.
Yeah, that is great. Is it possible for us to know how, so far, because NAPTIP has been on for the past 10, 15 years now.
14 years.
14 years.
15 years, since 2003.
Yeah, 15 years now. And they have been doing a lot. Though before now, it's been normal NAPTIP activities. But I think after some years back, let's say 2-3 years back now, NAPTIP have been on fire. When I mean on fire, they have really been doing a lot of work in terms of partnership and prosecution, like you mentioned. Is it possible for us to know the kind of how many victims have been really handled, taken care of in terms of is it skill acquisition, empowerment? We've known about prosecution. Like you have shelter in Lagos now. And there are a lot of people that must have gone through your shelter.
Yes.
Yeah. So how many so far? You might not give us the exact figure.
Exact figure.
Yeah.
We've been able to empower over 5,000.
That's great.
I may not be able to say the exact figure, but then that's talking about it nationally. It's huge.
Okay. And your approach has always been what you mentioned, reception, shelter, counseling,
yes,
you know,
empowerment before
and
they are
okay,
reintegrated.
okay, and that's good. And most of them are mainly women and children.
Mostly women
Mostly
and children.
women and children.
Yes.
You know, and you mentioned that immigration is your they're one of your partners.
Yes.
What are the other partners that you have?
I mentioned foreign missions. We have state governments like the British, the German, the Netherlands, Swiss, the Spanish government, even the even African countries.
Okay, what of the
work
local
with us.
local
Then
communities?
we have the NACTA, that is the National Council, the CSOs,
the network of civil
CSOs
societies.
against
Okay.
the trafficking, abuse and labor.
Okay.
We have the United Nations bodies like UNODC, IOM working with us. We work with Wycliffe too.
Okay.
So we have the parents and teachers of schools. We have the transporters working with us because most times they are told to transport the girls. They may not even know that these are victims. So we've seen it that's important for us to teach them on how to identify victims of trafficking. So they are the ones, sometimes they call us to say, we suspect there's an activity going on at so motor parks.
Okay.
So we carry them along. Even churches and mosques, the leaders, the opinion leaders, the community leaders, they also work with us. The ministries are there too. Ministry of Women Affairs work with us. Ministry of Youth and Social Development, Ministry of Education. These are frontline ministries that work with us. The Nigerian police is also there. Okay. We have the DSS also working with us. All these are partners that are, I may not have listed all, but then.
Yeah, as the zonal commander of Lagos Zone and the focal person in the fight against human trafficking in Southwest Zone, what is your advice to the general public?
It's important that people know that human trafficking is evil. It is a very terrible thing, and it's man's inhumanity to man. People are made to work as slaves, either because of their greed or laziness or ignorance. Now it's important for people to know that it's not just business as usual. There's an agency, NAPTIP, that is ready to send anyone caught to jail. And we are here to also to empower the victims of human trafficking. So wherever such incidents of human trafficking is suspected, they can call on us. We have a hotline in Lagos Command that I want to give to the public. I don't know if I can go ahead and give it. Yeah. The number is 0708 060 1801. That's NAPTIP hotline. Lagos Command 0708 060 1801. And our email address is infolagos@naptip.gov.ng. infolagos@naptip.gov.ng. Call us 24/7, we'll be there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you have heard it from the horse's mouth, the zonal commander, NAPTIP, National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons and Other Related Matters, Lagos Zone. You have heard it is a collective responsibility. All hands must be on deck to ensure that the issue of human trafficking becomes a thing of the past. It has eaten deep in the society, and you can also play your role by being part of it. You have heard the number that she just called now. Make sure you play your part. Until we come your way next week, I remain Osita Osemene.